Namaste, I'm Kanika, an Ayurveda physician. In the previous video on concentration, we saw what is the hidden factor behind the lack of concentration. And in this video, let us discuss what is the most common way to develop concentration and what are its effects on the body. The most common way to get instant concentration are performance enhancing substances. They are also called smart drugs. Most of them are artificially manufactured synthetic drugs. Adderall, anabolic steroids, cocaine, Concerta, crack cocaine, dextrin, ecstasy, methamphetamine, Ritalin. These medicines remind me of the teachers a few decades back who would slap their students to produce instant levels of concentration. And yes, it used to work. These stimulants work exactly in the similar manner. They give a tight metabolic slap to your body and then you feel instant levels of energy and concentration. These stimulants turn on the sympathetic system, the emergency response mode. They practically shake up the metabolism. They raise heart rate, blood sugar, blood pressure, they constrict blood vessels, open up the pathway for respiratory system, as if they are preparing the body for some kind of a fight. These drugs prepare the body for war. And yes, they bring concentration because you need concentration when you are going on a war. They put the body on an emergency mode where you need a certain level of concentration. But the problem is that, in emergency situation, the conscious mind shuts down and the animal instinct of fight, flight and freeze takes over. Cheetah is the fastest animal on this planet, but it cannot run for long distance because after every short run, every fast short run, it exhausts all its energy and it needs to rest. And the same thing happens with these stimulants. They can work only for a very short duration. According to the Yerkes-Dodson law, there is an empirical relationship between arousal and performance. And this means that arousal can increase performance up to a certain level only. After a maximum point, increased arousal triggers a slowdown in performance. And this happens because after a point, the body becomes too tired to respond to this stimulant. Natural level of concentration stimulates only the brain. And brain, just like a computer, needs very less energy. And therefore, with natural concentration, you can focus for a very long time without getting tired. It is very, very sustainable. However, stimulants work in a very different manner. They supply energy not only to the brain but also to the muscles because they trigger the emergency response mode. And this is parallel to supplying energy not to a small computer but to an entire robot. And that's why stimulants can be very, very tiring for the body. Constant intake of stimulants is completely not sustainable and it will not produce concentration as well. And what is the use of supplying energy to muscles when you are reading? These stimulants create a war-like condition in the body, but you cannot be at war all the time. This drug-induced concentration is not sustainable as it does not emerge from a restful state. On the contrary, it brings a lot of metabolic damage and repair work, just like a war. And if you expose your body to this emergency survival mode for a very long time, your body is going to get severely damaged. Now let's elaborate on the teacher's example again. Once the children are habituated to beating, one slap might not produce the same result as it produced earlier, and therefore you have to go on beating them to produce the same level of concentration. And the same thing happens with these stimulants. Once your body gets habituated to these stimulants, one dose of stimulant will not produce the same result as it produced earlier, so you have to go on increasing the dosage of these stimulants. And this is the way to addiction. There are multiple short-term and long-term side effects of these stimulants which are very, very serious. Initially, they might produce an intense feeling of happiness, increased energy, sociability, self-esteem, improved attention. But you see, this concentration is not natural and it produces also unnatural talkativeness, unnatural wakefulness, decreased appetite, difficulty in sleeping, nervousness, increased impulse, blood pressure. In the long term, if you are habituated to these stimulants, you might get habituated as well to increased heart rate, heightened blood pressure, very high body temperature, muscle shakes, tremors, agitation, and the long-term effects of these stimulants are even more serious. And the treatment for addiction is also not very easy, because you might face the withdrawal symptoms when you try to reduce the dosage. And therefore, these drugs should be taken only under medical supervision for specific mental disorders and not for increasing concentration once in a while. Looking at the short term and long term severe side effects of these drugs, I don't think that they are worth experimenting on, even for a short time. And for a great level of concentration, a sustainable level of concentration, you definitely don't need these drugs, any of them, because they are far better options than all of these. In the next video, let us discuss what are some of the natural options for developing great concentration. I sincerely hope that you benefit from this video. If you like my videos, please consider supporting me on patreon.com. Namaste and thank you for watching.